Finally, the long wait is almost over. Book 2, Adventures with Ploox, The Way South, is just about to hit the newsstands. As a little bit of a preview, I want to read to you from Chapter 6. Cletus burst into the clearing first, wheezing and gasping like a madman. He immediately spotted the man by the fire, but he was too short of breath to speak. It was all he could do to remain upright, struggling to catch his air. Just as he appeared to regain his self-control, Rockford plowed into the campsite. Like a giant floundering beast, he smashed into Cletus full force. The two of them went sprawling, coming to rest uncomfortably close to the flame. Cletus jumped to his feet, looking rather sheepish, while Rockford remained on the ground, panting like a fish on the verge of suffocation. "Help me up, you oaf!" he bellowed. When Rockford was back on his feet, he gingerly dusted himself off, but it didn't appear to make much difference. He still resembled an immense, chubby mud ball, all tattered and torn around the edges. Still, he had his pride. As he addressed the stranger by the fire, the man rose to face him. I hope you will pardon our sudden intrusion into your campsite, but have you perchance observed two young men roaming about this morning?" "You mean a couple of kids?" Rockford's face lit up and he began rubbing his hands together eagerly. Yes, two young boys, exactly. Did you see them? Which way did they go? Tell me, please. Oh, I really must find them." "I didn't see any boys, mister," the man answered calmly, sipping at his coffee. "Not more than 3 minutes ago I heard an awful ruckus over there by the road. I got up to have a look-see, but I didn't notice anything. Figured it was a deer." The man took another sip from his cup. "To hear you talk, it might have been those boys you're after." His gaze narrowed. "Why are you two fellas chasing a couple of kids anyway?" Cletus cast Rockford a nervous glance, while his boss proceeded to clear his throat. Well, those two lads are my nephews. They've been visiting my ranch these past weeks, and today the time arrived for them to return home." Nicky Neal practically gagged when Snodgrass said that. "So, this morning as we prepared to embark for the airport, those feisty pups up and ran away, hoping to avoid the inevitable. Such high-spirited boys they are, of course. Mr. Hensley and I quickly uncovered their plot and set out to retrieve them. We've spent the last half hour thrashing about this wilderness in search of them. Good heavens, think of it, man. They're city brats. Kids. And there's no telling what perils await them in this primitive habitat." Rockford paused to weigh the man's reaction to his tale, but none was evident, so he went on. "Obviously, sir, it is most urgent that my associate and I locate the lads, for their own good, of course." Now think. Rockford's innocent expression transformed into an ugly, scheming mask. "Isn't it possible you just might have observed my nephew's dark past in the last few minutes? We're rather confident their trail leads in this direction." For a moment, the man studied the pair of intruders. As he did so, he slowly drew his right hand upwards into his jacket pocket. "Mister, I'm afraid I can't help you. I haven't seen a soul in 2 days except for the likes of you. You'd better look elsewhere for those nephews of yours." Then Cletus spoke up. His tone was sly and prying. "Say, mister, what you got in that bus yonder? You strike me as a mighty curious sort." The man took another sip of coffee. When he responded to Cletus, he stared straight into his eyes. "Fella, what I do and how I do it is none of your business. Same goes for that bus. You know what?" He emptied the coffee from his cup, dashing it at Cletus's feet. "I think it's about time you boys were moving on." Rockford and Cletus eyed each other suspiciously. I do hope you'll pardon our uncertainty, sir, but I'd feel greatly relieved if you would allow my associate to take a mere peek in your vehicle. Surely you won't object." As Cletus moved toward the bus, however, the man blocked his way. "I just told your friend that me and this bus are none of your business. Now my advice for the two of you is to retrace your steps and take up the chase elsewhere." Cletus doubled his fist. "Mister, there's not a chin in Texas I can't shatter with these here hammers. Step aside." Before he could take a single step, Cletus dropped his arms and began backpedaling. Nicky Neal squinted through the crack in the curtains and saw why. Holy cow! From the pocket of his jacket, the man had pulled a deadly-looking pistol. He now pointed it at Cletus's belly. If you want to catch those boys, you'd better get started before I lose my patience. He turned his glare on Rockford next. That goes for you too, Chubby. Get! With that, Cletus and Rockford bolted from the campsite, stumbling and mauling over one another in their haste to retreat. For a moment or two longer, the man remained where he was, listening after them, chuckling to himself. Then he put the gun away and turned towards the bus.